So today we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from chapter 1 verses 16 to 18. So in this verse, Dhritarashtra is addressed as Prithvipati, the Lord of the world. Prithvi means the entire this planet Earth. So if you see that 5,000 years ago, from the statement here, it appears that the king of Hastinapura was the emperor of the whole world, Prithvipati. One king, the whole planet was being governed by one emperor or king. On different parts of the world, other kings were there. They are all subordinates to this king. All of them are named here, right? Drupada, Virata, Kashya. In different parts of the world, they came and joined. And each and every one of them possesses a different kind of bugles, which you call it Shankas. So they declare that now we are ready to fight. The Shankadhvani, that means, they're blowing the conch shell, saying that, they are ready to fight. There's another significance to this verse. What is that significance? Yudhishthira is also described here as the Raja. In the beginning, Sanjay informed Dhritarashtra that Duryodhana is Raja. So actually, the fight is between the two kings. One side is Duryodhana, another side is Yudhishthira. It's very important that one may not misunderstand. Therefore, particularly mention Kunti Putra here. This Raja, who is a Yudhishthira, is Kunti's son, Kunti Putra. So Drupada Maharaja Drupada, the father of Draupadi. See, Draupadi was gained by Arjuna in a competition, right? Draupadi, the daughter of Maharaja Drupada, since she is a daughter of Drupada, she is called Draupadi. And her sons, they are Draupadiya. So there are grandfather and grandsons. All of them are present. So there are allies. Maharaja Drupada happened to be the father-in-law of Pandavas. We know that Draupadi accepted 5 husbands. When Draupadi was gained in the competition, that time actually Pandavas was incognito. We know that the Pandavas were banished for 12 years to stay in the forest. And after 12 years, 1 year they had to live incognito. Nobody would understand where they are living during their incognito, that 1 year period. So they took shelter at the house of Maharaja Virata. Virata, at the time, this Maharaja Virata's daughter was Uttara. Uttara was trained by Arjuna for dancing. Arjuna was appointed as a dancing teacher for the daughter of Maharaj Virata. And the daughter's name is Uttara. When it was discovered that Arjuna is not actually a dancing teacher, he is a great hero, then Maharaja Virata wanted to offer his daughter. In fact, he advises Arjuna to marry her daughter. Then Arjuna said, how can I marry this girl? I am her teacher. Therefore, a teacher is to be considered as a father, so it is not possible. for me to marry your daughter. She is more like my daughter. But he says that, if you like, I can get this girl married with my son Subhadra's son. See, Arjuna has another wife called Subhadra. In fact, Subhadra is a sister of Krishna. Krishna, Subhadra, Balarama. Balarama is the elder brother of Krishna, and Krishna is younger brother, and Subhadra is the sister of both brothers. Krishna has a desire he wanted to hand over Subhadra to Arjuna, and Balarama wanted to hand over Subhadra to Duryodhana. Because Krishna is younger brother and Balarama is elder brother. Being elder, if Balarama says something, Krishna could not say anything. Elder brother has decided that he wanted to marry Subhadra to Duryodhana. Then Krishna advised Arjuna to kidnap Subhadra. See how much Krishna is affectionate towards Arjuna. Arjuna also liked, he was also affectionate, and he also wanted to marry Subhadra. And Subhadra also liked Arjuna. But the only problem here is elder brother Balarama did not agree for this proposal. So they made a plan. Arjuna kidnapped Subhadra. In Kshatriya, among Kshatriyas, this kidnapping is allowed. Kidnapping and fight. These two are allowed in Kshatriyas. In Kshatriyas marry through this process only, either fight or in every Kshatriya's marriage, generally there will be fight. Unless there is a fight, Kshatriya's marriage is not considered complete. That red vermilion which you apply, right? That is Kshatriya principle. After killing the opposite party, the blood will be smeared over the head of the bride. That is conqueror. That's an indication of victory. So in every marriage, for instance, Krishna had 16,108 wives. And each wife was married by fighting. Beginning from Rukmini. Rukmini also, the first wife of Krishna, the first queen. When Krishna became king of Dwaraka, she became the queen. She is the first queen, and Krishna married Rukmini. So Subhadra was kidnapped by Arjuna. Similarly, same thing happened with Krishna also. Krishna, in fact, kidnapped her, rather took away Rukmini on her request. Even there, the Rukmini's brother, Rukma, wanted to marry her with Shishupala. Shishupala happened to be Krishna's cousin brother. And Rukmini did not like that she would be handed over to Shishupala. She wanted to marry Krishna. So he sent one letter to Krishna. This is her position. My brother Rukma, he has decided to hand over me to Shishupala, but I don't like. So please arrange for my kidnap. A Brahmana was sent to Krishna with this message. Is also another responsibility of Kshatriya. One of the responsibilities of Kshatriya is if a girl proposes, I want to marry you, a Kshatriya cannot refuse. It's a Kshatriya dharma. Anyone calls for a fight, anyone calls for uh, this play of Juda Krida, they call it as gambling, or anybody, any Kshatriya girl or any girl for that matter, asks Kshatriya for the marriage, he cannot refuse. He must marry that girl, even at the risk of his life. This is Kshatriya spirit. This happened even with Bhima actually. When they were in the forest, Hidamba was killed as another demon. Bhima kills Hidamba. Hidimbi, who falls in love with Bhima in the first instance, she's actually Rakshasi. But she wanted to marry Bhima. Bhima initially refuses. I can't marry you because she was a Rakshasi. Then she goes to Yudhishthira Maharaj. She complains to Yudhishthira Maharaj. I wanted to marry Bhima, but he is refusing. Yudhishthira Maharaj compelled Bhima. You must marry. Even though she is a Rakshasi, you are a Kshatriya. Since she approached you for the marriage, you cannot refuse. This was the system. It's a very nice system. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These principles not work now. But this used to be very nice principle when Varnashrama Dharma was strictly followed according to the Vedic injunctions. So all these kings on the side of Pandavas, they were relatives. So they joined. When they blew the different types of conch shell, and the other side were actually, they also blew it. But when they hear conch shells of Pandavas and warriors of Pandava's side, the Kaurava's side was trembled. Oh, they have gathered so much of strength. Duryodhana's plan was Duryodhana was thinking that these Pandavas are banished to the forest for 12 years and 1 year in incognito. Nobody knows who they are, and everybody has forgotten about Pandavas. They're banished. So they could not gather any good people or good amount of soldiers for fight. That was his idea. That's what he thought. But when they saw that there's so many kings from different parts of the world have joined the Pandavas, so they become frightened. Sagosho Dhritarashtanam Buddhyani Vyadharayat. They're just like heartbroken. What is this? They have gathered so much great fighters. Nabhashishcha Pratim Chaiva. Tomorrow, Bayandu, the next verse that we're going to read about this. So these all the kings who gather there are actually, though that the whole Prithvi, the entire planet was under the rule of Hastinapura. Whoever is the king of that Hastinapura at the time, Dhritarashtra was the king. So it was entire planet was under the supervision of Dhritarashtra. That's why it is called Chakravarti, king of kings. There are so many other kings was there in the province, in this on Prithvi, but all of them are subordinate to Chakravarti, or king of kings. That is here Dhritarashtra, the king of Hastinapura. So Hastinapura was very powerful. Hastinapura was in a disposition that's very powerful and was ruling the entire planet. And the strength was coming from not necessarily Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was put upon throne, but actually the ruling was happening through the protection was given by Bhishma Deva. And you know about the story of the Bhishma. Bhishma is a great warrior. But he decided to be a celibate, brahmachari, as he promised to his father's father-in-law. His name is Dasharaja. Bhishma Deva's father's name is Shantanu Maharaj. He's actually first married to Mother Ganges. And he was attracted to Mother Ganges and he married. And but Mother Ganges, Ganga, she put some conditions to marry Shantanu. One of those conditions is you should not stop me in doing anything that I would like to do. You should not question me whatever I do. You should not question me. You should allow me to do it without asking any questions. Shantanu was so much attracted to Ganga, he was readily agreed that whatever Ganga is putting as a condition. The Rajas generally, the kings, Kshatriyas, once they give, they owe. They give any vow, then they strictly follow the vows. Since he agreed that he is not going to ask any questions to Ganga, he did not ask any questions to Ganga. While Ganga was, as soon as she gives a birth to the child, she used to take that child and offer it to river Ganga. That means, in essence, she's killing the children as soon as she is born. They are born. Shantanu did not understand why she is doing that. He tolerates it. The first child, second child, third child, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and finally, when there is an eighth child, he could not restrain himself. He at last asked her, "Stop it. Why are you doing this? What kind of mother are you? Killing your own children." Then Ganga answers the question he asked. What is their previous life and why they have taken birth in this planet Earth? Ganga is actually daughter of Brahma in demigod's planet, in Swargaloka, in Satyaloka. They gathered together in an assembly on invitation of Brahma. All the demigods gathered together for a meeting. During that time, Ganga and Shantanu. Shantanu was also Gandharva or a demigod. It's Gandharva, I think. So he also assembles there. He also was invited Brahma's assembly. During that period, when Ganga was serving the people, what do you call that? The people wear on top, right? What is that called? the covering of her upper part of the body that loosens and falls apart, falls down. Everybody bows down their head, but Shantanu uh, concentrates on her beauty, and Ganga also reciprocates to Shantanu. And this is observed by Brahma. He gets angry and he curses both of them to take birth in uh, Prithvi, on planet Earth. That's why they appear on this planet Earth. That time, there's another incident happens about the Vasus, and they get a curse. They are supposed to take a birth on planet Earth. When these Vasus hear about curse of Ganga and Shantanu, they're going to take birth on planet Earth. They approach Ganga and request that accept them as uh, her children. And they also request, as soon as we burn, just throw them as in the water, so that we don't have to go through the pains of leading life in this material world, especially on Prithvi. Ganga agrees for that, and she was just doing her duty. Among these 8 Vasus, actually they disrespect a Brahmana. I think something happens about. I don't remember exactly which Brahmana. They offend a Brahmana, and then the Brahmana curses this Vasus to take birth in the material, on Prithvi. And the one who offends that actual Brahmana was the 8th Vasu. And that's why the 7 Vasus, when they burn, immediately they left this planet. But the 8th Vasu was restrained. That person is Bhishma. So Bhishma, because when the Ganga said that she's going to leave the place as soon as uh, whenever she was questioned, she says that she will leave Shantanu. Now Shantanu, out of curiosity, she could not contain himself after seeing 7 of his sons being killed. He goes and asks and stops Ganga why she is doing what she is doing. And she explains the whole story, and she says that, as we agreed that, I am now leaving you. And she leaves the place. So now Shantanu is alone. By then, Bhishma, his name is Devavrata actually, birth name, given name. And he's grown up. In fact, Ganga takes Devavrata along with her to Devaloka. And Bhishma, the Devavrata, was well trained in archery and all kinds of fighting or military education. He gets a knowledge from Brihaspati, from Vedas. So once he is well versed and is properly trained at his 16 years of age, the boy was returned back to his father. Shantanu was very happy, and he declares him as prince. But he gets attracted to a girl again. He goes on a hunting one day, and he sees a beautiful girl, and who's by approaching her, there's a wonderful fragrance, aroma that engulfs almost 1 yojana. That means, I think, 1 yojana is, how much is 1 yojana? Anybody knows? I think 14 kilometers or something. The radius of 1 yojana, her body there's a wonderful aroma comes out of her body that attracts that attracts everybody around. And Shantanu also get attracted to her. Her name is Matsagandhi, but she was given a boon by Parashara Muni. Then she becomes Yojana Gandhi. In fact, why the Parashara Muni gives it? Parashara Muni travels on those waters in Ganges sometime, and he meets this girl. This girl, what she do? Her duty is, she's a daughter of fisherman. So her duty is to take the pilgrimage from one shore to other shore in boat. That's what she was doing. One time Parashara is also traveling in the direction, and she gets attracted to this girl. But this attraction is not a material attraction. There is a purpose behind that. And Parashara Muni asked Satyavati, her name is actually Matsagandhi. Later she was called Satyavati. So he asked her to unite with him. And Satyavati says, you are a great sage. You are a learned person. But I am not married. I'm a girl. I cannot accept your proposal. So there is going to be my chastity is going to be questionable. People will not appreciate this. So then Parashara says that this is not a physical attraction. Out of physical attraction, I'm asking for union. This is meant to happen with our association. There's a great personality is going to appear on this planet. And I will promise you that your chastity is not going to be disturbed by our union. I will make an arrangement in such a way that I don't even have to touch you, but you will become pregnant. So she agrees for this proposal, and that's where Vyasa takes birth. Vyasa is born out of Satyavati's womb. So after that, and Satyavati was doing her regular activities and continuing doing what she was doing earlier, and Shantanu gets attracted to her. During that period, actually, Parashara Muni gives her the Parashara Muni gives her the boon. Earlier, there used to be a what do you call that? The smell of fish used to come out of her body. Parashara Muni gives her a boon so that she becomes a Matsagandhi to Yojana Gandhi. A beautiful fragrance used to emanate from her body. And now this Shantanu becomes attracted to that girl, and he wanted to marry her. And then consequently, she marries, but she leaves. Satyavati wanted to. Shantanu wanted to marry Satyavati. Then Satyavati says that you need to. Your proposal should go to my father, not to me. If he agrees, then I can marry. Then Shantanu goes to her father. His name is what's his name? Dasharaj. And Dasharaj is the father of Satyavati. He says that according to Satyavati's astrology, her children is going to rule the country. He knows that already Devavrata is declared as prince. the future king. Even after that, he says that, our daughter's children should become the king or take the throne. But Shantanu knows that, he cannot give that promise because he's already declared who is going to be the next king. There's a capable son he has, and he was declared as the next king. So he could not give any promise to him. He says that that is not possible. But he could not get out of the attraction of Satyavati. So he used to go every day, and under the tree he used to sit in and watch Satyavati doing her job. And he was not focusing on his ruling or a kingdom or anything. And Devavrata as a son, and also is the declared as a prince. So he wanted to understand what is going on with his father. And through his inquiry, he understands that this is what is a proposal his father has given to Dasharaj, but Dasharaj, some reason he's refused, but he don't understand why he's refused. So he approaches Dasharaja and asks the reason for refusal. Dasharaja explains what was the conversation happened between him and his father. Then Devavrata says that, okay, that is what your condition. My father could not give it because he's already given that position to me. So if he takes away that position, it becomes injustice to me. Being a king, he cannot do injustice. As a father also, he cannot do injustice. So he doesn't have right to give the boon that you're asking for. But I can give you the boon because it's associated with me. I will say that, I will not take the throne. Let the children born out of Satyavati be the kings. Be the king. But Dasharaj says again, okay, you saying that, that's okay. But if you marry tomorrow, you may get children. And they may object this proposal. They may not agree for this proposal. Then Devarat becomes, he's very much attached to his father. He wanted to see his father happy. So he says that, okay, fine. If I marry, I may not able to restrain the children whom I may get. If they challenge that, they need to get the kingdom, I may not able to restrain them. But I have a right not to marry at all. So there is no question of having issues or the children. And he takes the vow that he's not going to marry ever. He's going to become brahmachari or celibate. So that's how actually the problem comes from there. If you really look into the Mahabharata, the problem started here. Excessive affection, keeping that that attachment which Arjuna started his conversation with. He don't wanted to fight. The entire of the first chapter, we'll see Arjuna putting a proposal. He don't wanted to fight because there's a kin and kith. That is started not just with Arjuna. Prior to that, it is started with Bhishma. He's so affectionate to his father that he, without thinking what would be the consequence of his vow or a promise, and he has taken a vow out of his affection for his father. So the point is, we should be very, very careful in our vows also. We should not promise the things that become a hindrance for executing our responsibility. Our responsibility is really speaking, not that, there's a two kinds of responsibility I was talking earlier in the previous class actually. One responsibility is, based on our bodily platform, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, based on this categorization. And there's another responsibility higher than that is when we understand, we come to the platform of spirituality and we understand we are not this body but spirit, soul, our responsibility becomes different. What is that responsibility? Jivira Swarupe Krishna Nityadas. Nitya Krishna Das. As a part and parcel of Krishna, our eternal duty is to serve Krishna. That is our responsibility. If anything becomes a hindrance in the process of executing devotional service or rendering service to Krishna, that should be avoided. Anukulasya sevanam pratikulasya varjitam Krishnanushīlanam bhaktirittamam. There's a very important aspect of executing devotional service. Many a times people have many questions. Okay, if I do this, this is going to be disturbed, that is going to be disturbed, that's my responsibility, this is my responsibility, so on and so forth. Because everybody has some responsibility. If you're a Brahmana, you have some responsibility. If you're a Kshatriya, you have responsibilities. You are a father, you have responsibilities. You are a mother, you have responsibilities. You are a husband, you have responsibilities. So based on our different kinds of positions that you take in the material world and in different positions that we are put up in, we have different responsibilities. But ultimate responsibility, a permanent responsibility, a true responsibility of us is to serve Krishna, because we are, whatever responsibility you are talking about, being in a material position, like a father, child, and husband, or a wife, or whatever that position is, that is based on this body, which is temporary in nature. But you are not this material body, but you are spirit soul. As a spirit soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Being a part and parcel of Krishna, our duty is to serve Krishna eternally. In order to execute that responsibility, anything comes on our way, that should be eliminated and avoided. The people will communicate all, okay, this is my responsibility, that is my responsibility. So, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada gives a generic formula. What is your higher responsibility? To serve Krishna. So anything favorable for serving Krishna, you take it up in the material world also. If anything not favorable in serving Krishna, reject it. Anukulasya sevanam, pratikulasya varjitam, Krishnanushīlanam bhaktiruttama. This is a principle given by Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. So our goal should be engage in service of Krishna. This Krishna conscious method provides that facility to us. How? It doesn't ask us to give up our profession, our activity, or whatever our position is. Rather, it suggests whatever you are, continue to do what you are doing, but keep the Krishna in the center of your activities. And mold your activities in such a way that will be done for the pleasure of Krishna. Very fundamental things. For to maintain this body, the body requires four different, body demands four different things, right? Ahara, nitra, bhaya, maiduna. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. These activities, if we do it for our senses, our own self, for our own sense gratification, there's a cause of binding in this material world. Karma bandhana. But the same activities will perform keeping the Krishna in the center. That means, how do you do that? The same activities, if we keep the Krishna in the center, that all becomes a purificatory activity and devotional service. How do you do that? Eating, we cannot stop. Right? For eating, we make some preparations and then eat. So we need to change our consciousness, our thought process, instead of making it for our own self, make it for pleasure of Krishna and offer it to Krishna as a bhoga. And then you partake the remnants of offering as a prasadam. Then what happens? The whole process of eating becomes prasada seva, that becomes a devotional service. And sleeping, we need the rest, proper rest, to keep the body and soul together. Nobody can avoid that sleeping. How do you make that, keeping Krishna in the center? If our consciousness is that, I'm taking rest tonight, so properly I will take rest so that I get up in the morning and attend Mangalarti. If that is our thought process, that is our consciousness, then the entire sleeping becomes devotional service, which is essential. But keeping the Krishna in the center, we made that physical to spiritual. Eating, sleeping, mating. We recreate, we beget children. Krishna consciousness doesn't say that, you don't get children. You can beget children, but with the right consciousness. We need to understand that, those children are also spirit souls that belong to Krishna. They are put up under my protection at this moment as a child. So my responsibility is to guide them to become devotee of Krishna. If that is our consciousness to beget children, there is no problem. Even when you get 100 children, there is no problem. There is no restriction on that actually. So see that, if our consciousness is, Krishna is our Krishna center, then that's all the activities which are binding us to this material world. The same activity becomes the cause of liberation and a purificatory and a spiritual. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. We protect ourselves from various things, right? From other living entities. We'll also try to protect ourselves from calamities, nature's calamities, and etc. This is a natural thing, so we wanted to protect ourselves. But that protection has to be for the purpose of protecting ourselves, so that, we as individual soul associated with this body, together, we protect it so that, we can engage our senses in the service of Krishna. So every activity which is essential for this body, and to keep the soul and body together, the four things, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, which are actually cause of our binding in this material world, those four things becomes a spiritual in nature when you keep the Krishna in the center and perform the same activities. This is what is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means engaging in devotional service. That means whatever we do it for pleasure of Krishna. And how do you do that? Learning about it and practicing it is Krishna consciousness. By doing that, what happens? We situate ourselves in our constitutional position, which is Jivira Swarupe Krishna Nityadas. We are the servants of Krishna eternally. And by engaging ourselves in that process, we're actually liberating ourselves and achieving the goal of human form of life. Krishna consciousness teaches us how to do that in this material world, especially being in this age of Kali. We cannot give up in our positions or activities and etc. But being in our position, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sthani Sita, be where you are. At the same time, engage yourself in Krishna's service by doing everything, keeping the Krishna in the center of your activity for the pleasure of Krishna. Then all our activities become spiritual and purificatory. That is all is Krishna consciousness, how to do our activities or divert our activities from our sense gratificatory activity to activities for the pleasure of Krishna. It's very simple to do it. If you adjust those things, automatically we will become the followers of Krishna's instructions. If we follow Krishna's instructions, we will get out of the cycle of birth and death. We get our ultimate constitutional position of being with Krishna and serving the Krishna. It's not very difficult. It's all we need to do is in Krishna, to be in Krishna consciousness. We just need to adjust our way of life a little bit here and there. Anyway, we have to eat. We cannot avoid. Instead of eating for just, making things for ourselves and eating it without restrictions, Just, make it for Krishna, cook it for Krishna, and, partake in prasadam. When you are making it for Krishna, you have to be mindful that, we need to offer what Krishna wanted. Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta pranashrati. It doesn't take non-vegetarian food. It doesn't take anything intoxicating elements, any liquor or anything like that. And it doesn't take any egg or any egg is also considered a non-vegetarian. And Krishna takes sattvic food, food in the mode of goodness. So we cannot even offer him onion, garlic, and mushroom. Onion, garlic, mushroom, any non-vegetarian or intoxicants. Non-vegetarian includes egg and fish as well. So we need to make a pure vegetarian dishes and offer it to Krishna and partake in the prasadam. You are still eating. You are not stopped eating, or are completely fasting or eradicated eating or something. You are eating, but it's minor adjustments. You just eat only food offered to Krishna. And we need to chant the holy name of Krishna every day, at least 16 rounds. One round means 108 times chanting of the holy name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And be in the association of devotees and read about Krishna, discuss about Krishna, glorify Krishna and Krishna's activities and his devotees. It's not too difficult to be in Krishna consciousness. Just, we need to make the decision, be determined. By doing that, we'll perfect our life, this life itself. We can become a Jivan Mukta. Being in this life, we can be liberated. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness compared to many other spiritual processes. Krishna consciousness doesn't say that, you don't do what you are doing, but it says that, changing your consciousness, do your activity for the pleasure of Krishna. That is all this can say that, it's in a sense of today's verse. We can close it here. Prabhujis and Matajis, anybody has any questions, comments, or corrections, we can discuss. If nobody has any questions or comments, we can close our session. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Harinama Sankirtan ki Jai. Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Samavita Bhakta Brind ki Jai. Jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Thank you very much, Matajis and Prabhujis. You have given me opportunity to speak from Srila Prabhupada's books. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavatam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.